tifu by showing my wife to swipe right and see the popular feed. I have accidentally swiped right to the popular feed. I immediately swipe back again. It's not something I want to deal with. Wait, y'all are using the popular feed on purpose? What's a sign someone has been through a lot of shit? They appreciate the tiniest things around them. They are super empathetic and kind. But they can also flip like a switch if you push too hard. Extreme self-awareness is often present. Empathy and effort to understand as well. They tend to keep a lot of information about themselves locked up for fear of it being used against them. They don't trust people and aren't surprised by weird things that people do in public. Stubbornly independent because they don't believe they can rely on anyone. Fans of dead celebrities, which death hurt you the most? Robin Williams. He was everywhere when I was growing up. I remember watching Mork and Mindy as a kid, and of course all of his movies and voice roles over the years. I was saddened by his passing, especially given the circumstances surrounding it. Adam Yauch was tough for me. Huge Beastie Boys fan growing up. What show was great at first but declined so much you couldn't finish it? The Walking Dead 100%. Pretty Little Liars. I watched it for years and just stopped. I couldn't continue and never finished. Arrow and The Flash. I was obsessed with both then just stopped one day. Feel like the CW would cover a lot. LPT, want to remember more from books. Use the Feynman technique. This is also a great skill when you're speaking on complex topics to people who are non-experts. This is why taking on training roles in your job can be very helpful. You don't realize how little you understand about something until you have to explain it to someone else. Let your best employee go. I'll take it all down with me. So in other words, you have all of the necessary equipment to start your own business doing what you were doing before? It's like the roommate that uses your pots and pans, microwave, plates, cutlery, glassware, washer, dryer, TV, and then shows the sad face when you move out because he got you evicted. LPT, if you skip the Super Bowl it's a perfect opportunity to go out to busy places. I worked at a grocery store for years and Super Bowl night was always the most dead night of the year, along with any night of a big rivalry football game. I can so remember watching how slowly that clock moved while there were less than 5 customers in our massive store. Conversely, about 4 to 5 hours before the game starts was always one of the busiest of the year, so if you need to grocery shop today, expect that if you're going early. My family and I used to go to the Six Flags every Super Bowl Sunday and there's nothing like the joy of being able to ride a roller coaster and run through the lines and immediately get back on the same one. I used to test to see if sitting in the front or the back felt different. My mom, sisters, and I go to a Broadway show every year during the Super Bowl. If we get tickets days of there's usually lots of choices. LPT, how to get a human on customer service calls. I was trying to get through to FedEx earlier today about adding a unit number to a shipment and the auto prompts kept shutting me down. Next call I said your driver hit my car and boom, instant human. Saying I'm returning a call generally works too. ATT and Xfinity response with this you have exceed the number of attempts, goodbye. Till George Washington is the only U.S. president elected as an independent to date. Washington opposed the development of political parties. Why is the picture here of Finnish Marshal/President Mannerheim? Washington had a fucking point. Hundreds of millions of American consciousnesses and objectives have become too. Some people think if Washington were alive today he'd be woke. Some people think if Washington were alive today he'd be mega. But if Washington were alive today he'd definitely be screaming you went and created 2 great political parties after I specifically warned you not to. It was in my farewell address, people. And the military takes up how much of the budget? And the schools? Oh God. What did you only find out about women when you got a girlfriend? Bras are far more expensive than I realized. Clothing sizes are all over the place. The acidity of vaginal discharge. I learned so much the first couple times I did our laundry. My BF said the main thing he noticed is how soft I am compared to him. He was baffled and I didn't know there was such a big difference either. Women don't usually have pockets. Just imposters. Till that the American Acclimatization Society was founded in 1871 to introduce European plants and animals to North America. In 1890, they released 100 European starlings in the US. By the early 2000s, there were more than 200 million starlings in North America. Ah yes, the let's release random animals and see what happens era of science. While eradicating passenger pigeon at the same time. The same sort of shittery happened in New Zealand. Introduced birds and mammals to remind colonizers of home. And promptly fucked the ecosystem. Ferrets, rabbits, hedgehogs, cats, dogs, pigs. Idiots. What do you make of the White House referring to Elon Musk as a special government employee? Subject to drug testing like all other government hires. Assistant to the regional manager. It's to avoid legal trouble for anything illegal he does. Why are you not afraid of death? I'm 80 this year. If there was something I could do about it, it'd be a different matter, but since there isn't, I'm good. I'd feel differently at 40 raising a child, but I've done that. Grandkids are terrific, so I'll settle for whatever happens since it's inevitable. I honestly don't know anyone over 75 who's afraid to die. Surely, I cannot fuck up being dead. I'm not afraid to die in the slightest because my 8-year-old little boy died in an accident 2 years ago, followed by my mother 3 weeks later. For the past 3 years I have felt more dead than alive. I went and I got help because I still have a child that is alive, and the rate I was going I probably would not have made it another year. No, death is easy, it's life that's hard. Life is scary and so painful. I look forward to the day I die and I'm still a relatively young 43-year-old. What's a beautiful girl name to you? My name is never in these threads. You/needs it rough for sure, top of all time TBH. Violet. My #1 favorite name. Like and subscribe.